Right.
Ready? Okay. So good morning to everyone. This is our April 15th meeting for Board of Public Works and Safety. We have a quorum this morning. And first item on our agenda is approval of our March 18th, 2026 minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the March 18th Board of Public Works and Safety meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second? Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Okay, the first item on our agenda is opening of bids for the Berne safety building improvements. We have 3 bids that were turned in before the cutoff time. So the first bid is from Amstutz Construction. And they have a check in here for their bid bond. Is that what you call it, Dave? And their bid amount is $45,491.80. $45,491.80. The next bid is submitted by C.A. Harris Construction, doing business as Sky Valley Group. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I believe that bid is
Second page.
$44,494.80. So $44,494.80. And our last bid is from Jones Commercial Interiors. And that bid is $55,110. So we have 3 bids. We'll take these under advisement, and we'll be in touch with the bid winner. Okay, thanks for bidding. So I guess I'll entertain a motion that we take those under advisement.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to take those bids under advisement. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, then the next item on our agenda is opening of City of Berne vehicle bids. We have 2 vehicles, a 2013 white Ford Explorer and a 2010 white Ford F-250 Super Duty truck. So the first bid that I opened is a bid for the Ford Explorer. This bid is from Kelly Morningstar. The bid is $3,218 for the Explorer. And the bid for the F-250, also from Kelly Morningstar, is $2,222. The next bid is for the 2010 truck, F-250, and that bid is from Michael Sprunger for $2,501, $2,501. Next bid on is for the 2010 Explorer, or 2013 Explorer, I'm sorry. And that bid is from Isaac Worst at $1,251. $1,251. Next bid is from Bay Ridge Motors out of Staten Island, New York. This is for the 2013 Ford Explorer, $885.
We got bids from him before, haven't we?
People in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this one is from Ringwood Motors, Inc., out of Ringwood, Illinois. And they bid $700 on both of them. Each, 700 on the Ford Explorer and 700 on the pickup truck. Okay. Next bid is for the 2010 pickup. And I believe the name is this is a rough one. Orva Caulfield, I think.
Who that is?
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. This is for the 2010 F-250. His bid is $3,100. And then for the 2013 Ford Explorer, that bid is $2,500.
That same person.
Yeah, same person. So I will entertain a motion to take those bids under advisement as well.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Curtis. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ron. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right. The next item on our agenda is the Van Buren Street bid recommendation. from Commonwealth. They have gone through all the bids that we received for that project, and the lowest responsive bid was submitted by E&B Paving at $775,036.42. The engineer's estimate for the project was $1,124,035, which means the low bid was $348,998.58 below the final estimate. So we did okay in that bid process. So Commonwealth's recommending that we accept the bid from E&B Paving and issue a letter of intent to award contingent upon the receipt of the CCMG matching grant funding and NDOT approval of the post-bid documents. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask at this point. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to accept the bid from E&B Paving and issue a letter of intent to award.
I do have a quick question, just so that I'm clear on everything we're doing on Van Buren Street. So the sewer project is coming through there, and the sewer improvements are being done as a part of the bids that we got for the long-term control plan, the bond. So that's being handled there. This improvement to Van Buren Street is for street improvements and stormwater. So the stormwater improvements are a part of this too.
Yeah, that's the main reason it is there.
Okay.
Because of the stormwater and the curb and gutter. Secondarily, the road gets paved.
Right.
Through these funds.
So for $775,000, we get new paving, new curb, new gutter, much improved stormwater infrastructure in that area. So, okay, well that's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure that that was what was a part of the $775,000. So I would be in favor of making a recommendation or a motion that we accept Commonwealth's recommendation to award this project to E&B Paving as documented in their April 2nd letter.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Curtis. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, next item is Berne Water Department, Neptune AMI Gateway quotes. So you wanna come up to the chairs there?
Sure thing.
Kind of go over everything for,
Yes, sir. Hello, everyone. My name is Scott Dunlap with the Utility Supply Company.
Thanks, Scott.
Good to meet you all. We've been working with you guys since the dawn of time. We've had every iteration of meter in the system. You guys have now moved from mostly our V3 model meters to our V4 model meters as the meters age out. Encompassed in these meters is a signal that not only will get picked up by the drive-by system that you guys are currently doing. Once a month, drive by, read the meters, get that data, put it in our software, then transfer that to billing. What we're proposing now, the next sort of upgrade for you guys would be to place collector antennas on either one or both of your water towers to collect all the reads from the meters 24/7, 365, effectively giving you live meter read data at the office here. That helps in the office with not only being able to better serve the customer by somebody calling saying, hey, I've got a high water usage, high bill. You're able to then log into that account, see current reads, see trends and usages, and essentially get hourly data on most of the meters in town 24/7. This helps with things like people with leaks. If you have snowbirds that happen to leave town, they've got a pipe that bursts, you're able to see this data and be alerted to these issues right away versus having this issue go on, say a pipe does burst in the wintertime or some sort of leak happens. You guys currently are only picking that information up once a month, a single read once a month, and then comparing that with the previous read versus getting daily or even hourly reads on these meters to be able to stop these issues right when they happen. There's really two. You guys have two water towers. That's kind of the low hanging fruit where we would install these gateway collectors to then effectively give you guys live readings on your meters. And we've talked extensively on this system, and it is kind of the next upgrade you guys can do to your meter systems to help better serve your customers. So when we're looking at the coverage of these, and I do have the propagation study here, and I believe you guys have it there also. Propagation study, if we're looking at it, if we do the northeast tower and install one gateway, we're looking at about 95% daily coverage on your meters, being able to collect at least a read a day from 95% of your meters. If we do both towers, that's looking at like about a greater than 99% daily coverage. So we'd be getting effectively live information on all of your meters all the time. So really two ways to go about it. The gateway collector itself is $25,000. Estimated install cost is $14,500, and that is per tower if we were to do that. So it's really up to you guys if you'd like to do this. It's extremely effective. We don't have a single customer who's gone with the AMI system that has regretted this decision. Yes, there is upfront cost. Not only is it the gateways here that we're talking about in the install, but it also your annual maintenance fee does go up about $1,500 to $2,000 annually. So there are recurring costs to this. There's a recurring annual maintenance fee. You guys currently pay about $3,500 annually or $3,400 annually, I believe. That'll go up to about $5,000 annually. But for the data that you get, that's kind of small potatoes when you can really be able to pinpoint leaks and alert somebody right away to them having an issue versus waiting 30 days, 60 days, and then alerting them after they have a $3,000 bill that's been sent to them. So the information is there. I'm here to answer any questions if you guys have any questions, or go from there. So.
I might have missed this, but we can get that data with the existing meters.
Correct. You don't have to change anything in the ground. Granted, there is a segment of meters they still have good life to the meters. They're just an older meter that doesn't send off as strong of a signal as our V4 meters. I believe we've got maybe a couple hundred of those.
Yeah, probably 200.
I think we've got about 200 of those. They're all being phased out as time goes on. So these meters are going to be changed out anyway. So why not throw up a tower to be able to collect this data 24/7 and be able to alert these customers if they are having issues. It does help with water loss, being able to have this information right at your fingertips every day versus pulling this information once a month or annually. So a huge benefit to the office here to be able to help customers, huge benefits to the guys in the field. With all this data coming in, you don't have to roll a truck to get a final read on a meter. Somebody has moved in, moved out. Katie can just click right here, pull up the customer's information. Oh, you moved out at 3 o'clock? Well, here's your 3 o'clock reading. There's the timestamp, there's the reading. Boom, we can move on to the next customer. So it has huge benefits in the customer service aspect. I'm not gonna blow smoke. It does cost a lot of money. I can't really tell you exactly how, where the payoff is gonna be. It's not a quick payoff, but it does eventually, the system will pay for itself with eliminating truck rolls, eliminating having to spend the hours of going out and reading meters, rereading meters. That's all done from the office. So it's an effective system, and it's everything you guys have on the ground right now. You don't have to change anything out, which is unique in the metering world. That our meters, not only do they broadcast the drive-by signal, but it's also broadcasting that AMI signal for the towers.
So the current process, we do a drive-by and get everything that way. That's what we're doing today, once a month, or, I mean, assume once a month for the bills.
That's correct. You guys are driving by once a month. Takes a couple hours to drive by, read the meters, about 4 hours every month to drive by and read the meters, versus if we put 1 or 2 of these towers up that are collecting the reads continually, you don't have to send out a vehicle to read meters, other than you are going to have, it's really hard to get 100% read rates because meters do fail. They die. You have antennas that go bad, but we can get really, really close to getting 100% read rate every day on these meters. And effectively, the majority of your meters, you're going to be getting hourly data on your meters to be able to, so we don't have to roll a truck to get a history on a meter. Just like we were talking about your the trailer court. You're having to constantly go and pull the histories on those meters to be able to, kind of determine where leaks are and things. That information is automatically collected by the towers, dropped right into Katie's office or John's desk. That information is right there. It's live, able to be used. So it's a very good way to do things. So
moving forward, so let's just, hypothesize that we would, let's say we go with one antenna on the northeast water tower. We're saying 95%. We still would have the 200 older meters that would have to be manually.
not necessarily. If those older meters are within range, those older meters, they still broadcast off that AMI signal for the towers.
Okay.
It's just, it's not as strong of a signal as our newer style meter is. So it is still, they can absolutely hit the tower, no problem. And we have a lot of utilities out there that have the old V2, V3 meters out there that still hit the towers. So there's a very good chance that we are still collecting those older meters if they are close enough to that collection tower. So it's really, if we were to do both towers, granted that's a bigger cost up front, we're going to get a lot better coverage. And as those meters do get changed out, they're absolutely going to hit the towers once they do get changed out. But they still, we still may have, 5 years on these meters, maybe less. It just depends on how quickly the guys are changing those out. Because you already paid for that asset. We don't want you to, be out of that money. You've already invested in that. They can still hit the towers. I just can't tell you exactly, if those older style meters are going to hit the towers. So there is potential, yes, you will have to pick up a certain segment, and you're going to. I mean, when we're talking hitting 95%, there's still that other 5% that you will have to go around and pick up monthly on those.
So will we know what that 5% is? Will we know what meters have to be read if we go with one?
If you look at the propagation study, it does show you yellow areas on the map. Those yellow areas are what Neptune considers marginal reads. So we may only be collecting that read every 3rd day, every 5th day. Likely it may pick them up. It's just really hard to say with a lot of your meters being inside sets. It's harder for that signal to get out. But there are effective ways for us to visit, to find out. We do put up one tower. We say, hey, here's our 5% that aren't picking up. Maybe we need to change those out, or maybe we need to add antennas to those. We add antennas, and then bam, those are hitting the towers. So it makes you proactive versus being reactive. We see the ones that aren't picking up. All right, now we've got a goal. Let's go hit these X amount of meters that aren't hitting the tower as regularly as we'd like. We can either change meters out or add antennas to get you to that 100% read rate. But every month there's going to be a meter that fails or dies. Batteries go bad. electronics go bad in some of those meters, and they stop calling in. So, but we're able to see those every day on some reports that we print off, and again, this comes with all the training you guys want. We're here to help you as a partner in this. So again, we've worked with you guys for decades. And
So Scott, my background is about 40 years in information technology.
yes, sir.
Billing systems at
Yep.
GTE, Verizon, Frontier. So what I'm asking is, when we get time to run billing,
Mhm.
we'll know what meters have not collected and we'll go out and get it. Or, I mean, we need to know how to go out and pick up the 5% that we didn't get automatically.
Yes, those are on the dashboard of the software.
Okay.
We've got a KPI in there, and basically it's got a pie chart, and it shows you, basically at midnight it does a big system-wide synchronization, and then it kind of starts overreading. So and then as the day goes on, say we've got 200 that haven't read. At the end of the day, we only may have 50 that haven't read. And so that KPI will adjust as it hears those meters.
Okay. So whether we go with 1 or 2, we'll know come time to run billing what manual
Absolutely.
reads still need to be done.
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
so that-
And they're all still radio reads, so it would just be Kurt would grab his normal system and go out and pick up that 5% that hasn't picked up. Instead of taking 4 hours to read, he's only taken 30 minutes, 1 hour to read. So, and then if we do end up, if the one tower isn't giving you all the hourly data, we always have the option to add the second tower later on. So we can put the first tower up. If that coverage is good, you're happy with that, great, we'll go with that. If you want a little bit more, if you're say not getting hourly data on everything like you like, you can put up that second tower. And then in fact, we're gonna get over 99% coverage with that second tower. So I think the option of going with one tower and then having the option down the road to add a second tower, it's
So
totally up to you
there's a
guys.
good upgrade path. then.
Correct.
Second one.
Absolutely.
And are there any other local cities and towns around here that are using this technology?
Yeah, we've got about 120 of these gateways throughout the state of Indiana. Geneva is I'm sorry to tell you guys, Geneva is beating you guys in the technology front. Maybe that's a good sales tactic there. They put one up about 4 months ago, and they're getting all but about 4 or 5 of their meters are being read. You guys aren't going to be quite there with just one tower, and we know that. We know that with the study, but there's plenty of customers around, and I've got a whole list of them if you want to, talk to anybody about it. So
The Geneva clerk was in here the other day and she was saying how nice they like it in their office, just being able to be updated right away and get notified and be able to contact the consumer and let them know.
Yeah.
Your water usage has changed dramatically, and
as part of your dashboard, and it's the exact same software you guys are using, but instead of collecting reads once a month, it's sending these reads hourly from the collector tower. There's a KPI on there that will show leak status or continuous or intermittent usage status. And through a little bit of training, like I did with Sally at Geneva, she's able to log in the morning. Oh, hey, I've got a new person who's a new leak. She can click on that customer and see their usage and a bar graph of their usage. And then, whoa, I see overnight, they must have a toilet running or maybe they had a pipe burst or whatever it happens to be. It's all this live data. You're able to pinpoint and action on it immediately versus waiting a month, 2 months to then do something about it. So
Do those type of instances pop up the minute that she looks at the software in the morning of a high usage overnight or something like that as a warning?
yeah, they do. They come
Without her even pressing, does she have to
you
open the software and then that?
You can do it. You can effectively do that either way. If you want to be alerted to somebody, whether that is as soon as that meter goes into a leak status, you can have it. The system will email you, or you can get. But there's so many of these leaks out there. email will get inundated with these. It's best to use the KPI on the dashboard, log in, see that every day, and then track that daily. That's how this system is really effective. And Katie will take that and run with it. She's good with the software, so I know with just a little bit of training, she'll be on top of all that.
John or Tal, do either of you have anything to throw in, chime in?
I think I love that we can make consumers aware of issues right away, because a lot of times, say that the leak started at the beginning of the month, right after the read, and it's been leaking the whole month, and then they get this huge astronomical bill. We're having to do adjustments. I just think that it'll help the consumers and us, and just try to solve those problems right away.
Yeah, if you think about the amount, and I don't know how you guys handle a customer that comes to you and say, hey, I had a $3,000 water bill. I didn't know I had a leak. You know, it happened 2 days after meter reading. You didn't read it for another 28 days. You know, you guys should have warned me about that. Well, now you can warn somebody about that within a very short amount of time, within hours and days versus a month. So you're able to stop these issues, and then you're not having to write this stuff off. You know, you can tell a customer right away that they've got an issue, alert them to this issue, versus waiting a month and they come to you and say, hey, I had a plumber fix this. You guys didn't warn me about this. So it's just, the information is extremely powerful.
I'll step in for a second. And also, the way the system works now is we read the meters, the girls get the information, and if there's a problem, they contact us to go out to the community, wherever the problem may be, to try to contact the homeowner to let them know. Well, I found out through the years that primarily everybody works during the day. So me going to their house to contact them, there's nobody there to contact. And they could have a big leak, it could be a small leak, so I'll leave a note, stick it on their door. Wind blows it off. They're mad that they have a high water bill and they claim they never got my note. Well, now I don't have, and then I go do another one. Well, I just lost the data I just took by data logging their meter, go do another meter. Now they claim they never got the note. Now they give these girls heck because the city never told them they had a high water bill. And then it's just a revolving door. We do it monthly, it seems like. And this year, the information's there. If you want proof here, we'll prove to you that you've had a leak since this date. It's leaking this much. It started here. And I mean, a lot of these, not a lot, there are a lot. A lot of these homeowners want to take the responsibility off being a homeowner and put it on us as the city to let them know that they have a water leak. Well, I understand the elderly and some people aren't handy, but I mean, this year would take a lot of responsibility off of us, and it helps us back up our data and gives us a better leg to stand on when we're going into these houses and dealing with customers that are giving us problems a lot.
And it removes having to roll a truck and utilize man hours to go collect this information when it's being automatically collected. So you don't have to send guys out to pull a history on a meter. The history is already there. You can even email that to the customer. You can print it off directly without having to roll a truck and send somebody out there to do that. So the savings are there. It's just hard for me to tell you exactly how, when that's going to pay off and how that's going to pay off. So
I guess my initial thought, just hearing the benefits to the residents and customers and our workforce, the automation that goes into this, the monitoring that goes into it, and knowing that we have an upgrade path from 1 to 2 meters, I guess my thought initially is go with the one antenna approach, get it installed, get any bugs worked out. If we need a second antenna, pursue that at a future date. But the amount we'd spend to get the extra 4%, I guess I'm reluctant at this point in time to just go all in. I'd rather go with the first step that's being proposed. That's my opinion. I don't know, Curtis, what do you think, or Mayor?
Yeah, I would agree with you. At this point, I think we ought to try one. And I mean, it'd be different if it was only covering 75%.
Right.
But 95% is a pretty high percentage.
Mhm.
And the difference between buying two now and one later isn't astronomical.
No, we're talking about a few $1,000s, so it's not like it's gonna bankrupt anybody to do that. I think that's a great way. Neptune always under promises and over delivers on these studies, so they're gonna tell you we're gonna get 95%. And it may be that 95%, but a lot of times it's a little bit higher than that. So I think that's a totally fine way to approach it. And let's get it up. Let's run it for 6 months. See if we're happy with the data. Maybe we change out a few meters and we get to where we want to be versus those older style meters. And if we want to move forward, we can move forward with the second tower. So yeah, the install costs are $14,500 per tower. The gateway equipment itself is $25,000, so $39,500 for one tower. We get you up and running. The installers, I don't do the install. The installers that we use are out of Ohio. They're the Neptune meter distributor out of Ohio. They know this equipment. They do the most professional job. I can't say enough about them. And they stand behind their installs too. So I wouldn't partner with them, and I wouldn't even bring them up if I didn't trust them. So you go with us, and we're good to go. So this can happen really rapidly too. I would imagine we'd be up within 30 days. We could likely have you guys up and running on that one tower. So
I'd say if we're spending the money, the sooner the better.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I guess I'll entertain a motion at this point to purchase one gateway from Neptune at $39,500.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Ron. Is there a second? Second by Curtis. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Thanks, Scott.
Great. Well, thank you guys very much. Really appreciate it. And, we'll get that order started and get going. I'll get you guys in touch with the installers.
Thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda is a request to consider a no parking zone at 1230 Parkway, which is the fire station. So it was brought to my attention by Brad Yoder that I think it was last week, one day, there was a baseball game and cars typically park along the north side of Parkway Street across from the fire station for the baseball game. Similar to where they park when we have the fireman's pancake and sausage breakfast, which is this Saturday. I'll give a shout out to everybody for that. Anyway, people typically park on the north side of Parkway Street there too, which doesn't cause any issues for the most part. But what happened at this particular event was there were cars parked along the north side. Like I said, there were also 2 or 3 cars parked on the south side. If you know where the mailboxes are at out front there, that's where the cars had parked, 2 or 3 cars parked, and they had a fire run. And Brad stated that it got a little concerning when they pulled out of the station to turn on to Parkway with those cars parked on the south side there in that little strip of that little area there. East of there, across the front driveway into the parking lot in front, that's already marked yellow just because it's closeness to the intersection. So he just wanted to know if I could bring that up to see if we would consider. I've never noticed anyone parked there even during a pancake and sausage breakfast. Everybody parks on the north side. I don't recall anybody parking there just for the breakfast. But we just had that one incident where he said there were cars parked along that south side for the baseball game, and trying to get through there with cars on both sides with the trucks. It was a little concerning, so.
I think it makes sense. So from a Board of Works perspective, do we make a recommendation to council?
Pass an ordinance.
I'll make a recommendation that we take this no parking request forward to the city council at the next city council meeting.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, any other comments from public? Any board comments? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Okay,
Second.
have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you.
Yeah.